We have a lot of topics to go through today. So you're here with Coach Mo and Coach Sarah today. So welcome. Awesome. All right. Well, the waiting room is slowing down, so I think we should dive into this topic. I see someone still connecting to the audio. That happens. If you fall out, you can just come back. We'll let you back in. We know how technology works. Not. All right. So that are the rules we got. And then I just want to show you a little reminder here. Like, if you're newer in your WarriorBabe journey, which a lot of you probably are, nothing good comes easy, right? And we all start somewhere. And you gotta remind yourself that today, next week, and 12 months from now, like, life will happen. Life will throw you a curveball. You can do this. You can do this. And we can pivot and we can alter. We can make changes if we need to, but we're gonna stay committed to our end goals one way or another. I'm also here to tell you that it most likely takes longer than you think. This is why we start with a 12-month journey, and then maybe we'll create it much longer. You mean, you're a WarriorBabe for life now, with or without your VIP status, but this is not ever gonna stop. This is your life right now. But today we want to just go over a few things like mindset, workouts, macros, community. On every single topic we touch today, we have a more in-depth call. So if there's anything else you want to learn, obviously you can ask us questions. Your coach is probably even better to ask questions because he knows more about you. As well as, like, if it's somewhat overwhelming or there's terms here we're using that your coach hasn't mentioned yet, you just started. It's coming your way. It's just we're trying to give what you need right now to begin, and then we're going to dive deeper and deeper into the topic. So this is just a scratch of the surface of all the things you're going to learn in the next 12, 24, whatever, 36 months, however long. So one of the starting points is important to identify your starting points. Now, your coach is going to do most of this for you, but it's nice to have an idea where you're at. So we talk about different phases, and these phases don't necessarily have anything to do with which phase of life you're in or what workout phase you're in. When we talk about phases, we actually simply only talk about the nutrition part and mostly the amount of calories or the macro ratio that you're eating. So if you're new to macros, there are 3 main macronutrients that we track here with WarriorBabe: protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Without going in any details, the 4th macro is alcohol. We've been told we cannot give you a certain amount daily of that. So we're going to just stick it with protein, carbs, and fats. So if you're brand new to macros, your coach might have asked you just to track in MyFitnessPal, and that's a challenge on its own in the beginning. We know that. Or maybe you're just tracking protein right now. Or maybe you have all 3 macros, but you wonder why they are at a certain number. So most of you will start in a retrain phase. We call it a retrain phase here in WarriorBabe. Basically, what it means is we're slowly increasing your overall calories and or changing the macro ratios you come in with. This is why we ask you to track for about 7 days before you even join your WarriorBabe journey, just to kind of see where you fall naturally, not to judge or anything like that. But if you're under eating, so we think you do not eat enough overall calories, we post you into a retrain. Over the next weeks or even months, we're going to increase your macros. That's protein, that carbohydrates, and fats, or make some adjustments. Maybe your carbs are coming down and your protein is coming up. But remember, this is a very, very important part of your journey because we cannot pour from an empty cup. We cannot change macros that you don't eat. But also think about yourself as a very fancy car. You need fuel. You need gasoline, diesel, electricity, whatever car you have to get somewhere, right? Your body is no different. Yeah, you might feel fine. That doesn't mean your body is feeling fine too. So this is why retrain is a very important phase. Once you go from retrain, you end in maintenance. Where maintenance is, your coach and you are going to find out. But that's basically where all the magic happens, where you feel pretty good. You're eating just enough food, but you also really start to reshape your body composition because you're starting to build muscle, maybe lose some body fat. Now, this is not something you might see in a week-to-week pictures, but you'll definitely see it over the course of multiple weeks of pictures. So this is why they come in very, very handy. So in maintenance, we're not, or in retrain, we're not focusing on losing weight. We're focusing on healing the body from the inside, being in an amazing place, be prepping you for the next phase, which is either a build or a cut. That depends on your overall goals. In a build, a lot of you might never get there in a year because a lot of you didn't join for that reason. Some of you did, and we love that. So really focusing on building muscle to the next level, meaning you're going to eat in a surplus of your maintenance. This is where the scale will have to go up. Again, this is why a lot of you might not be ready for this now. But hey, listen back to this goal in 6 months and you might be ready because now you really want to build some muscle. And then a cut or a fat loss phase. That's maybe why a lot of people are here. Like, no, I just need the number on the scale to go down. We know that, but we need to start from a healthy body. So in a cut, deficit, shred, however you want to call it, what basically means is we're going to increase your movement and in cardio, and we're going to decrease your overall calories. This is why it's so important to eat a good amount of calories before we take them away. So all of this falls together, and none of this can get a timeline. We cannot say exactly how many weeks it's going to take or how many months because you're human and not a robot. But what's very important during any single of these phases is the communication with your coach, the consistency, not saying you have to be perfect 100%, but some consistency, and understanding and trusting the progress. And this is why that communication with your coach is very handy. So if none of this rings a bell, your coach hasn't spoken to you at all about this, you're probably still within your first month of WarriorBabe, and we didn't want to overwhelm you. And each of these phases has its own call if you want to listen and learn more. Of course, your coach has lots of details too, but they're identifying your starting point starts right there.
Mm-hmm. And then we want to talk about expectations as you guys are coming into this. You'll probably hear from all your coaches, whoever that is that you're paired with, that we're going to set certain expectations for you as you guys are coming in. We always discuss the WarriorBabe's expectations for success, or maybe you've heard Nikkiey talk about the 10-80-10 rule or the principles of that on calls or on podcasts of that nature. And that would be a really great one to check in on. But one of those things that we have expectations for is to be doing your check-in, which is going to be something you're going to do weekly with your coach. And they're going to set a certain day, certain time for you to have that check-in. It's going to be something that you're going to be sending them. More often than not, they're going to be having you fill out a form. They're going to be having you send measurements, hips, waist, whatever they're looking for specifically. They're going to be having you send them their weight, photos each week. Sometimes different coaches, they won't have you send it every single week. So it really depends on where you're at and your communication with your coach. But it's important that you're checking in with them. And that's going to be a huge piece of information for then us as your coaches to properly coach you. Because we don't have the data and you're not sending your check-in, we're kind of just throwing darts in the dark. We're really not going to know where you're at, where your body is progressing, how you're looking. And it could even be like lots of times you'll come in and maybe you're not losing any body weight, but we can show you pictures side by side and you look like a completely different person. I've done that more times than I can count, that I'll show pictures side by side and the person will be like, I've so been hung up on the scale, but I look completely different. This is amazing. So I want to kind of set this expectation that when you're sending these things in to your coach, they're going to use that to then go through all those phases that Mo just talked about and to help you figure out where you need to progress and move along to keep seeing progress. And with that is part of that is going to be, they're going to be setting realistic expectations along the way that if life's getting crazy or maybe like the holidays are coming up, then maybe if you're like chomping at the bit to want to go into a cut and you've been doing such a good job, but you're traveling out of states, maybe you're going on holidays, cruise, something like that. It might even be one of those things that will set a little bit of a buffer for that time being. So a little bit of realistic expectation. Maybe that's not time for a cut. And then we'll jump into that whenever you're ready. But having those things set up with your coach and knowing where you're at is going to be important. Because along the way, just like the body composition things, we're going to be celebrating these little wins. Little wins like maybe you're in here and all of a sudden you're sleeping better and like you slept maybe 6 hours for years, or maybe you've been a night shift person, or maybe you just haven't had any normal regular eating habits, or maybe you came in and your parents didn't teach you how to eat real whole foods that came out of the ground or had a mother. And now you're like feeling better, looking better, sleeping better, moving better. Those are huge wins that we like to celebrate here. because that literally trickles into every other piece of your life and it's going to make everything so much easier. And it's huge. So tell your coach these things on your check-in. Feel free to fill that form up. Don't send them like a couple words. Tell them about your life. The more that they are able to read about what's going on, the more they're able to help you to be like, hype you up because we are your team. And the more that we can help navigate you through this whole process. And a part of that is really discussing like what your why is. And you'll come in and you've probably already filled it out, been with your coach on your consultation, what your why is. You've talked to the reps, and it might be something that's kind of like a surface level why. And we're going to dig a little deeper. We're going to peel back the layers of the onion that we want to establish like, okay, maybe you're telling me this why. Let's figure out exactly what it is and what we can even like push you forward further to then see what your why really is. And a lot of that is like, I don't want you feeling like you have to go through the motions of this like program. I don't want you feel like this is a you get stuck in a rut kind of thing, or maybe when you're feeling down, like if the scale's not moving, like we said earlier, we got to come back to that why. Like, what's your real why? Like, why are you actually doing this? Maybe it's not the scale. Maybe it's because we have a lot of babes who are getting ready to retire. I've got a babe that's getting ready to retire within a month. And she was like, this was my why. And we kind of found it. She's like, I told you this is my why, but I'm seeing now crystal clear 3 months later. My why isn't that. It's actually deeper. She wants to be out of pain, to be able to go travel, get up and down stairs in her house. It's little things that add up that make a huge difference. And when we started getting into the depths of it, it started opening the door so much bigger. And so you got to keep that when things aren't maybe progressing, and you'll get to places that'll be boring. Maybe you get to places where you stall out. You and your coach will work through that together. Lean so hard into your why of why you're doing it. And even if you have to put it on your mirror in your bathroom, if you've got to put it on the lock screen of your phone, if you got to set little reminders around your house, like today is tough, but this is my why. Put it someplace you constantly see it and it's in your face, because these are going to be things that are going to move you forward, along with the small wins that your coach is going to celebrate you for. And hopefully you'll celebrate those as well.
I love that. Yes, no celebration is too small. And I like when you're all smiling. And Adrian, I love your facial expressions, really helps pumping us up. But yeah, we really don't like when we see what is your win and you say nothing, because we don't like that. I like this. And then we see so many wins. You might feel that way, but this is why we ask about your why, your goals, your wins all the time, because they change. Now, that is a part of the mindset. We started with that because it's very important. Another really important part of this journey is going to be nutrition. I kind of started already with like what a macro is, but remember, this is not a diet. This is a lifestyle. WarriorBabe is not another diet. This is why we go into the different phases and we talk about your whys, and we want to know you as a person. We want to hear about the cats, the dogs, the family. It's important for us to get to know you as a whole person, so we can create the perfect workouts for you, right? And the nutrition plan that fits with your lifestyle within our macros. But remember, it's not a diet, so it's not going to go away. It's a tool that you're going to learn forever. Do you have to track these macros in the app forever? No, maybe not, but maybe you'll like it and you want to keep keeping track on things. I know a lot of you love the numbers and the data, so that's where it's great for. But you don't have to always do this. This is just a tool we're going to use right now. So remember, nutrition is more important than your exercises. I know it's important that you're going to the gym, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, but really, your nutrition is 24/7, 7 days a week. The weekends do count. Yeah. We see a lot of amazing food logs from Monday till about Friday afternoon, and then things happen, right? So we want to emphasize it's about 7 days a week. Do we have room for balance? Yes. Can you go out for dinner? Yes. Can you go on vacation? Yes, of course. All of these things are important within certain boundaries and certain things you're going to learn. So you might focus on more fresh fruit, or maybe you focus on protein or even water, right? I'm going to loop that with nutrition. So you and your coach make a game plan for every single season. This is also why it's important to go to all these different things, because you're going to get sick one day, not super sick, but maybe you get sick. You're going to get maybe injured, or you don't feel so well, but you definitely hopefully have a weekend or a vacation or a holiday or a fun week. All of these things are important to navigate and to learn how to navigate within your goals so you can do this for the rest of your life. So there's never a time to say, well, this doesn't work or this is not the right time, because in hard times, you learn the most about your own habits. I mean, you learn about that, you can adjust them, pivot them, or just say, well, today we do memories over macros. We're coming near the holiday season. I know, you know it's coming. That's perfect. We have this thing called memories over macros. You're all going to have an amazing holiday this year. Why? Because you're not going to be panicking about the food. Maybe you did that in the past, not anymore, because your coach is going to give you all the tools to have the best holiday food season, whatever celebration you might have. Now, when it's not a holiday season and we're focusing on these macros and you have all 3 macros given from your coach, we really encourage you to pre-plan and pre-log. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it takes some time at first, but it's like a game. It's like a Tetris game. If you log your food as you go and you're kind of new to macros, I can almost guarantee you're not going to reach it within 5 grams up and down or each macro. We give you that leeway, 5 grams up and down, which sounds amazing, but once you start tracking, it's really not a lot. It's very nice, but it's not enough. So you're going to learn this. And if you pre-plan things, it's easier because you can go back and adjust things. We have an entire call on how to navigate MyFitnessPal. I'll send the link here in the chat, but your coach has it too. We also, if you listen to this in the recording, this might not work what I say, but if you're here tonight, tomorrow we have a call, totally devoted on meal plan. And trust me, your coach has a few tools on their sleeve as well. So yes, you're going to learn how to pre-plan your food and how to adjust when needed, because we're well aware that life happens. And even that you had your day planned perfectly, things don't go ever perfectly. So you have to adjust. So yes, you have the room to go 5 grams up or down, or maybe you and your coach have a different number discussed, right? That's perfect. Then another very important thing is hitting your pre and post workout meal. Now your coach might already spoke about this, that you have to start eating before your morning workout. Now there's something new for some of you. I know. It's different if you haven't done that for decades, right? Or maybe you're new to lifting and you're not know any better. Perfect. Keep eating before your workout. It's very important. But we have a reason for that, right? And what are the perfect macros? Your coach knows best. But in general, it's a serving of protein and a serving of carbohydrates, which is anywhere from 20 to 30 grams maybe of carbs and about 20 to 30 grams of protein. Pre and post workout again, because we really want to make sure that that workout gets all it needs. It gets energy and it gets recovery. Now your coach might adjust this a little bit, but you want to focus on protein and carbs. And you keep it low fat, simply because fat takes away from what we want carbs and protein to do around your workout. I am not saying you're not going to eat fats. I'm just not saying you're not going to eat or prioritize fats around your workout. Outside of that, we definitely recommend you eat every 2 to 4 hours. So your workout be a bit closer together, and then it's give or take 2 or 4 hours. But you might work on a job you can't eat every 2 or 4 hours. Cool, we adjust, right? You might like to eat smaller portions and you're not yet having a ton of macros, so you eat more often. Great. But we want you to try and eat as many meals across the day, so to keep your blood sugar high, or not high, but like leveled and balanced and good. So you keep your energy up. You're not craving food, because when we're really hungry, sometimes we come home after work, if you're not working from home, and you end up eating a lot of things in the fridge that were not planned for the day, right? Because you got so hungry. Or you have so much food left at the end of the day that you can't really sleep because you're so full. So there's all these reasons why we want you to spread things out during the day. Now you also need to drink water, right? And we gave you this crazy high water goal maybe. Okay, maybe that's too high. But again, you want to start your water first thing in the morning. You don't want to wait till an hour before you go to bed, because I can tell you now, you ain't sleeping so well. You're up a lot, right? And your body has to adjust. If you're not used to drinking water, but maybe you're used to drinking coffee or pop or juices, we got to switch that habit out. Takes time though, right? So you cannot be perfect tomorrow, and we know that. But you're going to make sure you drink more water. You also got to make sure you sleep many hours. Sarah said that might get better once you start doing some different activities. Or maybe you can't right now because, again, you work shift work. You have teenagers that come home at all times of the night. You have young children or babies that are up every few hours. We get that. So we're going to talk and navigate that, but we're going to try to prioritize sleep, because sometimes, especially career moms, don't prioritize sleep at all. But it's time, especially when you're over 40, and I know a bunch of you are, sleep is important, right? Gets more and more important. The other thing we're going to talk about in your journey is stress. We're going to drop the stress in your life just a little bit. And I know right now, if you're pretty new to WarriorBabe, we increased your stress by about to the next level, right? With these apps and these workouts and these macros and these calls. But in time, we're going to work on reducing that stress and control what you can. So this is why all of these questions we just talked about are on that weekly form. We want to know how stressful your life is. And if your life is always stressful, that doesn't mean that that is good, right? So we're going to work on that. But be honest, if your stress is at a 10, then say so, right? We're not going to hold back. We're not going to be nice to you, right? We're still going to push you. We're just going to push you to balance everything out. And with balance comes a workout.
It's true. I'm going to tap in on that for before we head into workouts. I want you guys all to know, if you're not getting enough sleep right now, know that sleep, depending on what work scenario, like Mo said, career scenario, babies, kids, whatever, they're coming in at all the ends of the night. Know that sleep is literally your free fat burner. So when you're getting sleep, it's helping you to decrease your stress. It's helping to regulate a lot of these hormones that are really crucial, especially for later in life. So sleep and learn to love it. It sounds really boring and your coach will stress you about it, but that is literally like your free fat burner. So learn to love it. Make it like your favorite thing to do. So I like to talk about working out, and I could go on and on about this. Mo knows this. The best, yeah, she'll have to stop me at some point. The best workout is the one you do. And some days it doesn't matter what that looks like. If you're going to the gym and your coach is going to put you on their program that fits you, your lifestyle, your goals, perfect for you. But lots of days that is just whatever that looks like to get you there, to move, and to get you consistent in your routine. So you're going to figure that out with your coach. If you guys haven't talked at all about it already, you're going to be able to have a perfect program that's designed for you by your coach, and be communicative with them about what's going on and what things you need changed, because you can trust the program, you can trust your coach. They're paired perfectly. That way you can be really confident with them about your plan, about your progress, and feel free to ask them questions about where you're going in the future, what it looks like, why you're doing the things, because that is one of the nice things about having a coach. We love to pour into you. We want you to feel confident, like secure, open, like able to know all the ins and out of why. And if they are like, here's why, we might have a workshop for you to look at. We might have a podcast for you to listen to that's going to explain it. That is one of the amazing things about WarriorBabe. We have so much content for you that sometimes can be overwhelming, like Mo said earlier, but we want you to know everything. There is no secret sauce to like this that everyone's like hiding from you. So be in contact with your coach about it. There are scientifically proven things that are very calculated and estimated to how and what to do in your lifting, what stage of life, where you're going to be progressing into, like if you're in progressive overload. And we want to make sure that you're doing those correctly. So one of the things I kind of want to discuss is whenever you're in the gym, you want to be able to pick a weight that's going to be difficult. Okay. And what I mean by difficult isn't meaning we're going to be in pain, discomfort, you're not going to be able to lift it, and you're going to have somebody help get it off of you. It is going to be something that is sometimes terrifying for women. Okay. Especially when we've had it beat into us for years to like not get bulky. I promise you it'll take a really long period of time to do that, and you have to be very dialed in, and you might need some assistance, but choose something. If you're doing something like a 10 to 12, 10 to 15, like hypertrophy rep range, that by the last 2 reps of that rep range is going to be tough. You're going to be making silly faces. You're not going to be pretty, proper, not sweating at all. If you leave the gym like that, let me tell you what, your coach is probably going to get after you and they'll be like, so how hard was it? And if you put on the scale, you'll see it on the little app after you finish your first workout, RP, which is rate of perceived exertion. If you're telling them it's effortless, they're probably going to be like, so it was effortless. Let me make it more difficult for you. And don't worry, we will. As you progress, you're going to keep getting stronger. So pick something that's going to be difficult for you every set and be grateful for your rest periods. Some of you guys have done CrossFit. You've been really hardcore in like burn boot camps, all these other things, and like getting like 30 seconds of rest is normal. But if your coach puts something in there that's going to be like a minute, heaven forbid, you're doing back squats, 2 minutes. Yeah. And you're like, this is the worst. I'm just sitting there. We're probably, if we were in person with you, we're probably going to stack on a little bit more weight. Okay. So be grateful for your rest periods. They're there for a reason. They are there to help you recover, to attack your workout, to be mentally prepared for it. Because believe it or not, the time you are building your muscles is when you are resting, especially days after. So during that period of when you're resting right in between your sets, incredibly important. If you're able to just go, 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 you're going to get burnt out and you're going to hit a wall. And that's a good place to get injured. So enjoy your rest periods. Scroll for a little bit if you must, if you're one of those people that already knows that it's going to be really difficult for you, but utilize it. I always tell my people, if you're one of those people also in the same mind frame, that if you have a hard time with distractions, and I like to tap in on this with my clients, like eliminate those. If you're at home and you got distractions here, there, everywhere with kids, with cats, with the dishes calling your name, like make yourself a little nest somewhere in a different room, in an office, behind a couch somewhere, and make that your place. Okay. That is your workout place. That is nobody else's. Okay. Create space for yourself, especially if you're not leaving the house. And there are quite a few babes. I have at least 50% of mine that work out from home. Make that your space. Own it. Don't have it meshed in with everything else. Make sure you have a space for you to disconnect. That way, when you're trying to do your stuff and your husband wants to watch TV, the cat's running through the room, like you can then disconnect and you don't have to worry about that. Same thing as kind of going back to the back squats or anything like that. If you have questions about a certain form of workouts, of an exercise, send your coach a question, but more often than not, they're going to probably ask you to send a video. So send a video in the messages, make sure it's going to be cut less than a minute, shoot it to them. Okay. If you don't know how to do it, your coach can help you with that, help you edit it to figure it out. But obviously we can't figure out form unless we see you in person, because you guys are remote, which is a beautiful thing. We can reach so many of you and help so many of you not have to be in person. But send them a video, because believe me, we all love to see it. We all love to coach you, and every single coach has a way of either doing a voiceover, of sending you a voice message, of putting it into a coach's eye app to send it back to you. Send videos. I promise you your coach will love it. I also want you guys to know, make sure you guys are taking your designated rest days. And especially for those of you who were like, I don't like taking my rest periods. Rest days are even worse. Learn to love it. I know so many of you guys are like, rest days are the best. Why would I not want to take them all the time? And others of you, it's a fight. Take those rest periods, because again, kind of coming back, that is when you're going to be actually building the muscle. So that DOMS, that delayed onset muscle soreness, like to get a little scientific with it, is whenever you're doing that micro muscle tearing, you're going to have white blood cells being rushed to repair it. And it takes time, just like if you were sick. And again, like lots of you guys know, when you're sick, you have all those white blood cells that are rushing to your body to help fix that. It's the same thing whenever you are going and building muscle and you want to build that muscle. Like that's why so many of you are here, is to build nice, strong bodies that are healthy, capable. Either you want to build nice, strong muscles so you can lift everything on earth, or those of you that are just like, I want to be able to hold off the nursing home as long as possible, get off the toilet, walk up the stairs, walk up the mountain, literally do all these other things. Like take those rest days. And if your coach gives you very specific instruction of please don't do anything, and I put that on quite a few of my babes' calendars, like sit on the couch, enjoy your rest period, take a bubble bath, whatever it is that's not going to have you feeling like you need to itch to get to the gym, or go for like, sometimes we'll get the babes that were like, okay, what's going on? And they'll be actually like, oh, well, I went and walked 3 miles today. Okay, listen to your coach. This is another great reason why you're here. Your coach programs them for a purpose, to help you bring your stress levels down, to help regulate your hormones, help regulate your cortisol, and give you some rest, like for total body repair.
Right, everyone's gonna change their workout attitude tomorrow, right? In case you were missing those rest periods and wondering why they were there for so long. Yeah, they weren't just for fun, like because we had to, but that's awesome. So what else is important about this lifestyle? So workout mindset, right? We talked about macros and nutrition, water, rest, sleep, little stress, and working out. All of this sounds great, but we want to make sure, we talked about this before, we need to have consistency. And consistency comes from systems, right? Because when you're just started, let me tell you, you're ready to go. You're doing your green smoothie, you're doing your yoga, you're doing your daily walk, you're going to the gym, you're logging your food. But then 1 week goes by and you're like, oh, you have to do all that again? Maybe 2 weeks go by and you kind of realize that maybe we have to adjust some things, and that's cool. We pivot, right? But you're gonna find a system to make this work, because we don't want you to burn out. We don't want you to add stress to your life. We want to make things easier. So this comes with that system of yours. Maybe you will be in the morning, right? You sit down and you write your meals, because that morning when you have your cup of tea and your breakfast and maybe some sunlight, that's when you do all that. And then some of you, like, the mornings are like, whew, right? They go by before you even do anything and it's over. Maybe at nighttime, you take a few minutes to log your food or pack your lunch back, whatever it might be. These are systems, right? You block off certain hours in the day, or in the week, sorry, to do your workouts. These are systems. And those are important. These habits and these systems you built in the beginning are gonna keep you going, because it's gonna get tough at some point, if it isn't already tough right now. The other thing is with the small wins and the steps in the right direction, right? Every day we're gonna focus on maybe 1% better of anything, not in everything, of anything. Maybe you said no to something, right? Or maybe you're building a little bit of your own nest in your workout room, like Sarah said, right? All of these things count toward that 1% better each day. Maybe you listened or read a book about some self-growth, some working out, some habit stacking, right? We have ideas for that as well. 1% better. The other thing is listen to your body, and someone just was type it in the chat, right? You know your body best. Yes, we create this program for you, and we're going to say Wednesday's a rest day, Thursday we're going to lift, but we don't know, and you don't know maybe what's going to happen Wednesday night. Maybe you didn't sleep well for whatever reason. Maybe you're fighting some illness. Maybe something very stressful happened. Or you're like really, really sore from a previous workout. You need to listen to your body and communicate that with your coach. But before even asking for permission to not go to your 4 a.m. workout, it's not like that. You know your body best. You know, are you making an excuse, or do you do yourself a favor by sleeping in? Right? Think about your children, your best friend, your mom, whoever you take care of. Would you push them to the next limit? Sometimes yes, because you're like, come on, you know you want to do this, you want these goals, go for that walk, get your macros locked, come on. But sometimes you have to say, slow down, stay on the couch today, have a nap. There's a reason, right? So there's a very fine balance that you're gonna have to learn, because maybe up to this point you were just go, 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 and you know. Did I just mute myself? Yeah, I did. That maybe there's another reason why you're doing it. So being in touch with your body is important. Another thing is we're going to trial and error. You, but also your coach. Because you're all individuals and not robots, you're kind of also, each of you are individual guinea pigs. Yes, we have some, some resources, some studies, a ton of experience, but we still need to kind of know what's happening with your body, how you feel, what do you like, what do you don't like. So yeah, it's trial and error, but not huge error, right? Because that's why we check in so often and communicate all of the time, so we can fix things right away. Also, really see this, as we said before, as a lifestyle, not a diet, but it's a journey. This journey is unique to you. There is no other babe that has the same workouts, same macros, same calendar, same everything. It's unique to you, so we can adjust if we need to. But we need to focus on systems that create consistency for you. And that is the biggest part of the beginning of this journey. Finding out those systems. Because once they're in place, you're rolling. Different exercise, different macros, doesn't matter. You just adjust if things goes on. And the good thing is within WarriorBabe, you don't have to do any of this alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so make sure you guys are keeping up your communication with your coach. I know we discussed a little bit earlier about your check-ins and stuff, but like Mo said, there's going to be things that are going to come up like the holidays, travel, sickness, stress, maybe moving, like all these big things are going to kind of throw you off. And I know a lot of you guys travel or you have weekends where you go um see family. Like, keep those lines of communication open with your coach to make sure you're still hitting your goals, but you're also still hitting the things that you came here for. And we're still able to hold you accountable because you have all these big goals, aspirations, things you want to achieve. And if we don't know it, we can't help you. So make sure you guys are letting them know about vacations coming up and things that might impair them. Like maybe you're only going to be able to have bands and that's it. And you're used to having a fully equipped gym. Like, you know, when your vacations are coming up, you know, when travel's coming up, let your coach know ahead of time so they can plan ahead of time. If you drop it in the messages that day, you're like, hey, I'm going on a vacation for a week. Well, sometimes it might be like your coach doesn't see it for, you know, a few hours, 12 hours, or they're like all of a sudden like, oh, and you need a whole workout for this week. Okay, give me a minute. Let me fix that and change that for you. So you guys know when these things are going to happen. You probably have it on your calendar. You probably have it written down. Let us know. Same thing with like all the holidays coming up. If you know things might be a struggle, like food wise for you, give your coach some things to help hold you accountable to. Like if you know you go to your sister's house and she makes the most incredible pies and you're like, please, I've seen so much progress. Like I don't want to like go overboard like maybe in years past, but you still want to enjoy it and we want that for you. Like tell your coach about that. Be like, hey, hold me accountable. Like to only maybe doing like one piece. Like I'm going to shoot you a picture. I'm going to put it in my fitness pal because I'm tracking and I've been doing so well since I've been doing it since September. Like hold me accountable to not going overboard and eating the entire thing and shoving it in my purse to bring home. Like keep in touch with your coach, especially about when you're sick, because everything is going to be specifically created to you. So if it's like we said earlier, like your sleep or your health, you know your body best. And we are here to help you along the way. That's one of the great things about having a coach is we're literally like your teammate in this. We're the guide. You are the captain of your ship, but we're the guide that's like taking you through it and showing you how it all works and how to reach the goals that you've been trying to either reach for decade, years, weeks, months, whatever it is and whatever brought you here. Like, help us help you. Um, so with that, like, keep in mind that sometimes the plan that you want may not be what you need. So I like to tell all of my clients, I believe in hot communication, which is humble, honest, open, transparent communication. There are going to be sometimes your coach is just going to be not maybe mean, but we're going to be very direct with you. We're going to set expectations that are like need to be met about things that maybe you're like, it is what it is. We're going to be like, nope, remember what you said you wanted when you started. Okay. Is that still important to you? They're going to hit you where it hurts a little bit sometimes, but we're going to do that lovingly, knowing that this is going to help you like move the needle forward and not be stagnant where you've been at for years. So keep that communication open with them. Be willing to receive feedback. Be really willing to like get sometimes some like things that might fire you up a little bit. Like tell that to your coach. Tell them you're frustrated. Like tell them like I'm happy about these things because those are those amazing things that we can build those communication and relationship with your coach. And whether you're with us for a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it is, we want to know it all. So really keep that line of communication open.
Love that. And yes, please do. Never ghost us. We're not disappointed. We're here to help you. We're team you all the way, okay? Even when it gets tough. Even when you didn't do anything for 1, 2, 3 weeks. Show up to your one-on-one with your coach, right? It's 30 minutes a month, not a lot of time, so use it. But we have all of these incredible community calls, right? Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, we have a mindset call. Sometimes it's hosted by Nikkiey. Sometimes it's hosted by 4 or 5 coaches. We call it a roundtable. Sometimes it's duo like today. Every other Thursday, we have a power hour call. They're more topic related when we talk maybe sleep, menopause, protein, progressive overload. A great way to learn something about a specific topic as well. And then you have your coach's huddle. The other week, there is a huddle with your coach's team. You've seen a lot of babes in your coaches team, right? And you're all here in the same place. It's a great smaller group within this community to connect on a maybe a little bit more personal level if you like. Your coach might have a topic, it might just be Q&A. It's a great place to just show up and share your wins and the journey, because the other babes understand what you're going through. And sometimes it's hard to find that at home or in your friendships, right? Because they don't understand what macros are, and they probably don't even want to know. Some of you do have friends to do that, or maybe they don't lift like you, and you just feel like you're talking to a wall sometimes. So use of these calls. Now we know we're never going to find the time that works for everyone. All of these calls are recorded, and you can still give feedback on them. I love to hear from my babes. Oh, I listened to this call and I picked up this or that. And then you have your group chat. It's in the app. It's there for a reason. I know from my group chat as well, sometimes it's popping and sometimes it's crickets, right? So be the one to spike it up. Say, hey, listen, I went to this call. You should all listen to it. I listened to this podcast. I loved it. Look what I prepped for breakfast. You know, don't be shy, because everyone is always waiting for someone else to do something. So be the one, okay? Be the one to spike up your group chat. Share a story. We like pet pictures, anything, right? It's a very safe community. So enjoy that part. Join these calls, listen to the recordings. Great when you're driving, as long as it's safe. Maybe cleaning, maybe meal prepping. We are totally okay when you're on a call live and multitasking. We know you're busy. We know how many things you have to do. You'll see me sometimes on Tuesday calls when I'm not hosting, meal prepping in the back. Why not? I can listen and mix something together. It's perfect. So do that. We also, as you said earlier, Nikkiey has a podcast, The Macro Hour. Great, right? Another great place. There's always some motivation there. So don't ask us for that. It's everywhere already, okay? Let it bleed into you a little bit. And it's also okay to do something different sometimes, right? You don't need to be 100% warrior babe all the time, every day. But it's there if you want it. There's a Facebook community out there as well. So we have options. That's just what we're trying to say here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
so
know, we just told you a lot. And there's still more, can you believe it? But if there's any questions, you can unmute right now, or you can type in the chat, but we love to answer your questions too, if you have any.
Mm-hmm.
And also don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. All right, who wants to go first?
No questions? Nothing?
I see
Y'all
you
got this?
but it's what your screen name says, Wonderful World. Okay, can you unmute? It doesn't have your name on there.
If it's on your phone, it's hard.
Or Kayla. Go ahead, Kayla.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. So my question is, I haven't really been able to find a lot of pre-recorded videos, and when I was talking to my coach a couple weeks ago, she mentioned there was a roadmap video or roadmap information about, like, let's say you do have a weekend where you are drinking alcohol. Typically that can be like, there's a different way to track alcohol, maybe, and I could be wrong, but I thought that's. But she mentioned the roadmap, like there's tools and videos out there. Where do I go to find that?
So I just in the chat, but I don't know if you're on your phone. I can never find anything on when I'm on Zoom and on my phone, but I just dropped it in the chat. All the community calls live in the same YouTube channel. But also you can ask your coach for that link, or it's in the group chat. Sorry, I'm trying to say the Facebook community as well. But there is one link that has literally like 200 plus calls. And yes, we have a special one on alcohol and traveling. And if we're referring to the roadmap, so most of you, unless you said no to them, getting quite a few text messages from WarriorBabe on a regular basis about, it's, I don't even want to say how many a week, but a bunch. 2 or 3 of them are part of the roadmap, but it's really Nikkiey explaining a few extra things, and they link as well to videos. Now, if you maybe said, I don't want to receive these text messages anymore, and you now change your mind, let your coach know. We have some tech people that can do something magical in the back end and get you back on these messages, but they come to your phone. And that is the roadmap. But in the community calls, we have literally any topic you can think of.
Perfect. So there's no like one website, it's all link based.
Yeah, unfortunately at this, we're doing better. We used to have more links, but yeah, the calls are all living on YouTube, but it's only one link from YouTube. So once you have that link, you're good.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Woo. Awesome. I think somebody had referenced once, but I wasn't able to find it. Is there a description that talks about the different phases that we'd go through? Like the first one might be a cut, and then we would go to something else, and then maintenance. Like, what are the different phases and the goals of each of the phases? I know I'm not going to ask you like for specifics, like each person I know is going to be different. So I'm not asking that level of detail, but just at a higher level.
Did you hop on the call maybe just 10 minutes later today?
Yes, I was late.
I saw your name coming in. So
beginning.
yeah, but that's okay. Listen back to the recording.
Sorry.
But also we have a more detailed community call on that as well. But yeah, I did go over that right in the beginning, the first 10 minutes. No, that's okay. By tomorrow, this call will be posted.
Okay, I will definitely watch it again.
And
Love
if you're wanting
that.
something more in depth, there's a really great podcast that Nikki has, and I don't remember the title, but do ask your coach for it. That goes over the phases, and she goes quite a bit in depth. So
Thank you.
that'd be a good one to listen to.
Yeah, and your coach most likely also has a huddle on it,
Mhm.
or it's coming soon.
Okay.
These are great questions. Keep
Yeah.
them coming. Did I see something else? Oh, someone else says he's 1 week in, a hard time getting in with protein. Oh yeah, it took me more than a week to figure that one out. I can tell you, months.
Are you having a hard time getting in your protein and going on over on other macros, or just in general, Audrey? I see some nods.
Yeah,
In
over
general?
in fats, under in protein. Guilty.
Or is anyone the opposite? So that'd be something. How about this? I have a really great link. I'll put it in the Facebook group. So be looking. So my name's Sarah Keats. Tomorrow, I have a wonderful link that is going to be, I know many of you guys go grocery shopping at Walmart and things like that, but it's going to shoot you to Walmart. It's a share a cart link. And if you don't have Walmarts near you, it at least has food options that when you do go shopping, you're like, oh, I've seen this label before. I've seen something similar of really good lean proteins that you can use in your everyday life that is going to help you fit your macros. But a lot of those things are going to be, keep them on hand all the time. And I like to, a couple of the ones that come on the top of my head are like Canadian bacon, tuna packets to go, Fairlife, like, I know.
Love it.
Like Fairlife protein drinks. So I'll shoot that into the Facebook group. If you guys aren't a part of that, please join it. I'll shoot that in there tomorrow. Be looking for it, and I'll probably put that in there quite frequently going over the next few months because I've seen that question pop up a few times.
Oh, I'll steal that link and share it in my group chat as well. So that's another thing. I know we spoke about group chats, but that group chat might have a bubble there with like 20 notifications. Just definitely say every day or whatever you're in the app, just quickly look at that group chat. Golden nuggets get dropped on a very, very regular basis in there. Like lists like this, I totally put it in there. And tomorrow, so if you're not listening to the recording, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, the community call is all about meal prepping. And we're obviously going to talk as well about how to balance out these macros. Audrey, I love it. You have your hands up, but now I just tried to unmute you. No, it doesn't work.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty new at this. Oh gosh, I'm trying to multitask right now. I'm pre-cooking a bunch of chicken breasts so I can have things ready to prepare, and so I can, pre-prepare some meals for myself. And but like I said, I just started this on Monday. I just got my meal plan. So really Monday was my start day, but I really didn't get a good start because I had to go grocery shopping and get some stuff, you know, so I had everything I needed. But even I'm trying to follow some of the meal plan recipes, but I find that I'm not getting in all of my macros, especially protein. I'm not even getting in all of my calories. And I'm just wondering, I don't know, because I'm not hungry. I'm not really, you know, I feel like I'm eating enough and I'm not hungry. And I don't know if I'm not getting enough the in-between snacks, or I'm not eating enough little small meals. But like right now I'm in an adjustment period, and it's like, and today's my kind of overwhelmed day because I didn't sleep last night. So I took a long afternoon nap. And so I'm just off today, period. So like I said, right now I'm just trying to prep to get some things going. But I mean, I did get some suggestions from my coach of different things I can snack on to try and up some of those macros. But it's just been difficult because I feel like I've eaten enough. But you know, at least I feel like I'm eating the right things and not the wrong things. So
I'm looking
That's
at Sarah.
pretty-
Who's gonna take this one? No,
Very like-
we'll both do a little bit. But first of all, the win is, as I said, you took that nap, which is awesome. But also, you're already planning for tomorrow and pre-cooking some chicken. Like that's a win. That's maybe something you weren't doing like 10 days ago. So
Yeah.
you weren't even tracking your food maybe 10 days ago. So you really have to celebrate the small wins here. This is a little bit of a journey. Like it takes time to hit it all. And we are starting with macros. Sometimes we have to bring them down before we go up as well, right? But ultimately, it's almost like that teaching. You feel like you're ate enough, but did you? Like,
Yeah.
it's an adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't even get my workout in yet. I mean, it's going to be a later workout, but you know, so should I eat a meal, my regular meal, or do I eat the pre-workout meal and then work out and then come back and eat my, you know, regular meal, you know, because I'm, you know, I'm just, it's like late. It's almost 6 o'clock. And I don't like to usually eat after at least 8 o'clock. And it's I just feel like
But you're
I'm
not
it's an
gonna
off
get
day.
3 meals in. You don't need to do that. Like your pre-workouts can be your breakfast, or it can be your dinner, right? Or your post-workouts, your dinner. Like kind of step away from that breakfast, lunch, and dinner kind of mentality. You break it down in meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of takes the thought out of it. But if you're gonna work out today, then yeah, whatever you're gonna eat a pre-workout meal, however you want to call it. You're gonna work out, you're gonna eat some more, and then you're gonna rest, and then you go to bed. I thought, oh, it's 9 o'clock, but lucky where you are, it's only 6, so you're good. I was like, whoa, it's a late one. Right, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
That's tips.
Yeah, and then like since this is your first week, don't give yourself a grace period on this, because I know everyone wants to jump in hot and heavy and like be 100%. And like your coach probably talked about that. Again, coming back to that 10-80-10 principle, but just do what you feel like is feasible without stressing yourself out too much the first few weeks. Communicate that to your coach. Don't feel like you got to do everything. If it's 6 o'clock at night and you're like, man, I haven't eaten since, I'm gonna throw this out there, at noon. Like maybe tonight it is like, since it's your first week, we need to get a meal in and move your workout to tomorrow, and just make it simpler, because more often than not, like especially us as women, we're known to be multitaskers. Sometimes less is more. And sometimes we need to take things off our plate to then see progress moving forward.
If you ever want to move a workout around in the app, you're on your calendar view, it's drag and drop.
Mm-hmm.
And your coach is okay with that, as long as you don't keep dragging it to next week. We're good.
So say that again. How do you do that?
So if you're on the calendar view of the WarriorBabe Trainerize app, where it's like today is a workout or cardio, whatever. If you like, same as you want to uninstall an app, you hold it down for just a second, then it starts to move, and you can drag it to tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Because we totally understand that the plan to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday doesn't work every week. So maybe you know at the beginning of the week you're already going to move it around, or maybe you don't know till 6 p.m. and then you move it around. But that's great for your coach as well, because we can see you're planning ahead. We love that.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Okay.
What are the questions you guys have? That was a great one, Sharon.
I have a quick question. So
Yeah.
I did ask my coach, Lauren, this week about this, but then when I went to try to do it in the app, it didn't work, and I didn't get a chance to text her back. But I asked her, let's say I was making stir fry chicken with all the veg and all that. How do you log it? Because I didn't know how many servings, when you put all the ingredients in, and it says how many servings, and I don't know how many servings it is. She said to put one serving, like the whole meal is one serving, but then when I go to log it, put how many grams or ounces. But when I tried to do that, my app wouldn't let me do the ounces or grams. It said, do you want one serving or yeah. So I need help with that.
I just shot it into the chat if you're able to get that. There's a couple videos. If she never sent you a video online, she probably did. There's a couple really good ones. The one I just sent in is my favorite. It'll walk you through how to create a recipe in MyFitnessPal. And sometimes it'll come up with, depending on what you put in to creating a recipe, which would make it easier if you're doing stir fry and per se, like making your batch stir fry for the entire week. Like I'm just kind of spitballing right here. But then it'll walk you through like how many servings it is and just kind of divide it up of what that is and be like, okay, I know I'm going to make like whatever, say 6 servings, put it in containers and go. If it's something like that, really easy. If it's something like it's telling you or kicking you out and it's not letting you do ounces or grams or something like that, sometimes in the app, unfortunately, because MyFitnessPal isn't like we don't oversee it, we just utilize it as a resource. We can't always get the right serving of like ounces, grams, milliliters, whatever it is. So sometimes you'll have to play around in it just a little bit to find what makes sense, what fits for you. And lots of times go and do those check mark ones. So you'll see the little green check mark, that means it's verified. Use those typically over other ones, or scroll through your MyFitnessPal and kind of see what the mean like average is for these. Because if you're getting stuff that's like a stir fry and it's telling you it's, heaven forbid, 80 grams of fat, and you're looking at the label and you're like, I know that doesn't have it for even all the servings, like kind of go in and play with it. Does that help you at all? Because Mo just shot in the tips and tricks as
Yeah.
well.
Saw that. Okay.
Tips and tricks one goes over everything from setup to that, but the bright side is we're doing it both ways. We're showing it from your phone and your desktop. Personally, I find if I do recipes, the desktop version of MyFitnessPal is so much easier. And once you have created the recipe, it's easy to enter it from your phone. But on my phone, it normally ends up with me almost throwing the phone somewhere. But on the desktop, it's much easier. So that call will run you through that as well.
And you guys can always go back in if you create a recipe and edit it as well. Like if
Yeah.
you do something a little bit different or make a new one if you do something a little bit different. Yeah, the desktop version of MyFitnessPal is really easy. If you guys never gotten onto it online, do that sometime, especially when you're creating a recipe.
Okay.
I just learned something new today on MyFitnessPal. This was a huge win for me. It was like I was in the recipe section and I was going to start putting in my ingredients, but then there's a little link. It says import the URL and it just imports it. So if you have a website that has a recipe, you just copy and paste the link into it and it pulled up everything and it was just there and it was amazing. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I've used MyFitnessPal for like 10 years and I did not know this was there.
I love
Win
that.
for
I
the
love how
day.
you said that. For 10 years. So MyFitnessPal tips and tricks. If you haven't watched it, babes, I don't care how long you've been using MyFitnessPal. Watch it. It's all in there. So absolutely, it's going to save you time in the long run. And the app does update though, as you said, that's a newer-ish feature, right? The URL. Same thing as copy and paste an entire day. Apple could do it, Android couldn't. Now we can.
Ooh.
So there's always something to learn. Awesome. I know we kept you already much longer than planned, but if anyone has a last minute question, we're here for you. And otherwise your coach is there for you, or tomorrow morning again. I don't know where she lives. So whatever you took away from this call, don't stop believing in yourself and don't stop communicating with your coach. Promise?
Promise.
Nice. Good.
Okay.
Awesome, ladies. Thank you for being
Thank
here
you.
tonight.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys. Have a great night.
You too.